today we're going to be talking about for loops in Python. So, like with the while loop, for loops are also loops in Python, but for loops will iterate. So they're going to iterate over a sequence. Now, let me give you an example. So imagine you have someone, okay, and they go to a supermarket, okay, and they have a list of groceries, okay. So you might have apples, eggs, and bread. Okay, so you have this list. Okay, and remember what a list is in Python? We have square brackets around it. Okay, and the values are separated with commas. Okay, these are strings inside. Now, what we can do, our for loop allows us to go through each of these values one at a time. Okay, and how we would do this is, so let's say that this fruits, okay, this is not fruits, this is groceries, because bread is not a fruit. So we have groceries here. So what we can do is we can do for item. So we have for item in groceries. Okay, and then let's just say we're just going to print the current item. Now, what will happen is every time, so in this for loop, okay, we are going to loop through each item in our groceries list, okay, and at every stage, so at every iteration, this is what we call, at each iteration, item is going to become something else. So at the first iteration, item becomes apples, and then in the second iteration, item becomes eggs, in the third iteration, item becomes bread. Okay, it becomes bread. And now, so for each iteration, what we're doing is we are essentially printing the item, because remember what print does, it prints it to the console. So that's what it's doing. Okay, now, like with how we can iterate over a list here, as groceries was a list, we can also iterate over a string for maybe character in hello, print character. So as you can see, with our character, so when we're looping over a character, so at every iteration, okay, character becomes each character inside of the string. So H, E, L, L, and O. Okay, so we iterate through this 5 times because hello is essentially, this is essentially that's what it is essentially, okay? That's what it is. So that's how we can iterate through this string. Now, break, remember in our while loop example, break will essentially break out from this loop prematurely and continue, like in the while example, it will just skip the current iteration. Okay, so go back to that video if you need to remember what how to use break and continue. So now let's go to Replit and let's see this in action. So we have groceries is equal to a apple, eggs, and then bread. Okay, and then you just remove the space here for item in. Now remember, in our for loop, we need to make sure our code is indented. So Python does this automatically when we press enter from the previous line, because it knows it's a for loop. We can do print item, okay? So as you can see, if you were to run this now, we get each of our items printed out to the console. Thanks for watching.